So I'm going to keep working here to the left a little bit. Now I'm reaching the about the halfway point in the mosaic, which is around here. So there's a little bit of overlap in my two pictures, which you can't see those at the moment. So I'm going to kind of build over to about here or so, and then switch to the other side of the mosaic. So what I need to do is I need to fill in the little bit darker snow in here, and I've got some lighter snow here underneath the Old Main rock feature. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. Now, one of the things I have to be careful of is I want to try to give some hints of these couloirs or snow gullies that are on the face. So we'll see how well I can do that. But I may kind of save that until I've been able to fill out more of the rock feature here. And then I also have the decision to make here on gray versus white. I think I am going to stick mostly with the upper snow being white, even if it's a thin band, and kind of ignore the kind of blending out to adjacent pixels, where I might have white and then I might have gray like it is here, where it's blending in with the rock color. So now I've got the darker snow coming down here. Now these are those two pixels right there are that piece, that dark tan piece. And so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and try to fill in this white first, and then kind of work on the other stuff. That's all the white that's actually left on this half of the mosaic. I mean, the halfway mark on the mosaic is basically right around in here. Okay, so I filled in the snow over here to about the halfway point, so I can switch from the one half of the mosaic on the computer to the other half. One of the things you'll notice here is I went ahead and switched to dark gray bricks here. I started using light gray. Well, I started using orange, and then I put in light gray. I did that because the default color for rocks in here is going to be dark gray. Of course, the trees and stuff won't be that color, and not all the rocks will be that color. But it kind of made more sense. It made it stand out a little better. These will also be dark gray, and that area in there, I just didn't, in this area, I didn't fill in every single thing. But I'm using the bricks here sitting, standing up above the plates to make it easier to know what I still need to do and to get everything in the right place that matches the pattern of snow and rock and trees. So what I'm ready to do now is to go ahead and switch to the other half. So I will do that. And let me move this over and move that over. Now here we can start to see now the snow that's kind of plastered on the flatter areas of this rock buttress, Old Main. And this couloir or snow gully, you can actually see that here and see some of the snow around there. Now it's light gray because it's a combination of the white of the snow and the gray of the rock. Up in here we've got area here. This is kind of a mottled area, and so it's mostly gray here. One of those weird blue spaces in there. And there's also this kind of strip of snow that kind of tries to show up over here, and I think I'm going to try to put that in a little bit. And snow up here at the top, and I'm going to put all that I think most all of that snow is going to be white, although I may use light gray in a few places if I think that the white will stand out too much against the adjacent rock, because I do need to use dark gray or a darkish brown for this, and this is where I'm really going to have all these this is where the really difficult stuff is going to be, is trying to figure out the get the colors right in here for the rocks. It's one thing to be able to know what's snow and what's not snow, or what's snow and what's rock and what's trees, but it's going to be a challenge to get these colors in a way that I think represents the the actual location, while at the same time, you know, being able to preserve the snow and have things kind of overall come out well. So there's kind of where I've left off here. So this is 120 right here. So there's a little bit of overlap of the two frames. I did that intentionally, of course. So for instance, that is that right there. Okay, so I've got about 3.5 pixels of overlap here. Okay, so I have put in a lot of work here, put in several hours here into the wee hours of the morning, but I've made a lot of progress across here. So these places here, I'm starting to run out of these bricks that I want to use here. So in these places where I know that it's all going to be rock color, I just threw in some 1x1 bricks there just to kind of fill that in. But otherwise, this is basically, I've got this basically filled in. So I know these areas over into here are all rock colors, and up here rock colors, and then down here mix of rock and forest. Now, since I've got this all pretty much filled in, I can pretty much now go ahead and take out these the dark pieces, the dark gray pieces, because I've got the rest of it filled in. But I want to do some double checking here on this before I do that. But actually, with that in there, you can kind of get a better feel for what you know, what's going on here. Actually, even this by itself, you know, starting to look like a real mountain. You can see some of the there's some shoestring couloirs on this big face here, Old Main, and there's some, you know, other snow gullies and stuff. So this is starting to fill out pretty well. I still have about a little over about 60 to 70 studs worth over there to fill in, although that gets lower and lower, so there's less stuff to fill in than here. I did take out a couple of these, 3 of these, replace them with snow. I wanted to go ahead and highlight the tops of the ridges here, because most of the top of the ridge there is snow, a little bit of snow visible on the very top before it rolls off the front and becomes too cliffy for snow to stick everywhere. Alright, now it's time to fill in the rest of the area here. I'm going to fill in the snow and then mark out where the rock and tree areas should be. So, so over here, I started to put in. Let's see. I got this in, and I started to put in this next little buttress here. So I guess we need to kind of continue on that. Now I've got the first part of this in. The snow kind of sticks up into that and then goes over, and then there's another kind of snow gully there that doesn't show up real well in the mosaic code, but it's there. So let's go ahead and fill more of that in. Again, it's always a good idea to have the compressed air on hand. Okay, so I've got that bracketed here now. So now this up here, the rest of this in here is going to be dark. This is going to be dark all the way over to here. Okay, so so this is rock in here. So let me fill that in. Oops. Fill that in. Okay, and then this is going to be snow all the way to the top, and that's going to be snow, and that's okay. So all of this, so basically all of this from about here up now is snow, and this in here is rock. Okay, so we're making some good progress here. Okay, get that strength across there. Alright. Let's do that and that. Oops. Okay. Okay, so we got that snow in. Now let's start filling in this area. I am running a little low on the white 2x2s, 2x2 corners, but shouldn't need a ton more of those. Now in here I do have room for one of these. 4. 1. Okay, and plenty of 2, so let's do this. Okay, perfect. Okay, that one really does need a corner. Okay, so I have all of this snow in around this rock buttress, and so one of the things I got to worry about here is what's going on down here, because there's going to be a cutoff here, a break point here between the white snow and the light gray snow, and got to kind of fill in the bottom here. Now this is pretty much all going to be snow, but the easiest thing to do right now is to make sure that I've got the bottom areas here of snow. Now what I've already done in here, I've got this area of snow, and so that's under here. You can't really see it. Let me no, that didn't work. There we go. Okay, so that's that little bit of snow here. It's right there, and there's a little thing there, and that sign I kind of just washed out of there when I edited the image before I ran it into the code. So this area, there's going to be, and I kind of made that area just snow. So there's going to be, this goes to 3 here, but it's going to go up, and so what I want to do, and this is going to go up as well, but this is a good area to kind of get that bottom put in there. Okay, so looks like I've got all the areas where I need rocks and trees filled in. This area and all of this area needs to be white, and then this area here is light gray, including into there. So that's what we need to fill in. Okay, so I've got all the light grays put in. Now I just need to fill in with the whites. And sure I can make that as sturdy as possible. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now I've just got this one last section of white here. It's kind of bowing there because I've got something up there to support it a little bit to keep the glare off. Okay, so one more of these. And, oh, come on. Nope. That. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so that's all of the snow. Okay, so I've got all of the snow filled in on the whole thing. Whew. Now I can pull all of these, all of those dark gray bricks off. Now some of them will come back. Some these will come back on in the dark gray color, but not as bricks, but rather as plates. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to put pieces away, and then take care of all this stuff. Okay, so here is the mosaic with all of the sky and all of the snow in. Now I just need to put in the rocks and trees. Now that's going to take some effort because I've got to try to get the colors right for that. But in any case, it's looking pretty good. Get a little wider view here. Now it's going to be the appearance of the rocks and the trees that's really going to determine how well this comes out. I mean, it looks pretty good so far, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge getting the rest of the colors right. So we'll see how that goes. But At least this is shaping up pretty good. I had plenty of pieces to do the snow and eventually to do the sky. I had to order pieces for that. We'll see if I have enough pieces for everything else. I should. I do have quite a few dark gray pieces. That's what it's going to take for a lot of the rocky areas, and also the light and dark tans, and then the dark green for the forest. And I'm looking at my stockpile of pieces here. I think I'm going to be okay. I don't have a lot of dark green plates, but I'm not going to need a huge amount of dark green plates, so I think that's probably going to be okay. But you know, if I need more, I'll just have to get more. So let me go ahead and sign off here for part 5. And in part 6, I'll be filling in some more of this. Probably start with the trees, because that'll be the easiest color-wise.